Last week, Donald Trump raised the possibility of just delaying the whole election thing, and we all sort of get why that's something he's saying. It's complex, but it's a combination of his own inadequacies, fears about his performance in the election, and the fact that he'd love to dispense with this whole democracy thing. But that's what makes it so interesting that one day after he said that we might have to delay the election, the White House condemned Hong Kong for their decision to delay an election, lacking a bit of that moral gravitas in the immediate aftermath of saying you plan to do it. But, yeah, they don't want Hong Kong to. And I agree. We should have elections. I just don't think the White House has much, moral high ground on this.
I mean, it's the same do as I say, not as I do, or don't do as I say. Whatever it is, American exceptionalism at its finest with Trump. And it's so interesting because, especially when it comes to China, I think we've seen so many right-wingers laud the Hong Kong protesters and say, lift them up, and wow, they're fighting for democracy and all this. And that very well may be true, but then not extend that same analysis to Americans who are marching in the streets for Black lives, who are marching for civil rights, who are marching to be able to vote, freely. Suddenly, no, we don't like democracy anymore. We don't like protesters anymore. No, now umbrellas are weapons, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Everyone's an anarchist, etc.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about this, though, I mean, we all know Trump has said that he's jealous of Chinese leaders. He's jealous of President Xi Jinping for extending his rule indefinitely.
Yeah.
I believe it was lifting term limits or just extending his own presidency. And he was like, well, I wish we could do that. Remember when he said that? So it's a very cute,
joke.
Yeah. Oh, no,
he
it was
was
a joke.
Joking.
Good joke.
Very funny. Yeah. And let's have some more jokes because I like comedy. That's Francesca, great comedian. We have you on to bring the laughs, but Trump is also bringing the laughs because he has another joke for us. This was very recently. Let's see. We got it right here. He tweeted, in an illegal late night coup, Nevada's clubhouse governor, I don't know what that means, made it impossible for Republicans to win the state. Ooh, dramatic. Post office could never handle the traffic of mail-in votes without preparation, using COVID to steal the state. See you in court. So that is universal mail-in voting, basically. Because Trump seems to have forgotten, but we're in a pandemic. And it's not safe, and it's probably going to be no safer on election day than it is today. So they are making it easier for people to be able to vote, which seems long overdue in a representative democracy. But he's not a fan of it, and he thinks that if people can easily vote without exposing themselves to a deadly pathogen, Republicans, in his words, can never win the state again. Yeah. And so he plans to sue to stop the expansion of the vote. That's what the president is going to do. Hilarious. I'm not sure what the punchline is, but I know it's a joke. The setup sometimes is more valuable than the punchline.
I mean, our American democracy is pretty much a joke at this point, but exactly right. I mean, this is what Republicans have tried to do, but they're just a little minimally more skillful than Trump. So they love to suppress the vote. They love to close down polling stations. But Trump is openly again, saying the quiet part out loud and being like, we're not going to win. And everyone's like, shh. This is where I think journalism needs to play a, bigger role. Every single question from now until November to the president or to Kayleigh McEnany should be around. Look, we've all heard the president say that if mail-in voting were universal, were in every state, if there was more money for it, that Republicans wouldn't win. What is your response to that? Are you trying to rig an election? Well, do you believe that you can't win on merit alone? Is it because there is no plan for a second term?
Yeah. That seems fair. We actually have sort of a question like that with Kayleigh that we're going to play in a little bit. But I want to stick right now on Trump's comedy about, the election being theoretical. Like maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, maybe we'll delay and all of that. So here is a video. It's not Trump, but it is White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows being asked by John Dickerson about whether Trump had asked his chief of staff about the possibility of delaying the election. Let's see if that question receives an actual answer.
To the next question, did the president ask you or anybody in the administration to look into the idea of delaying the election day?
Listen, all of this that we're talking about comes down to one thing: universal mail-in ballots. That is not a good idea for the country. We don't have to look any further than New York to see what a debacle that mail-in ballots have been when we have weeks and weeks of delay of who the winner is. Can you imagine if that is with the President of the United States? So as we look at this, so he has not looked at delaying any election. What we will do is, if we try to transform this and start mailing in ballots all across the country, all 50 states, what we will see is a delay because they're just not equipped to handle it.
So, and we're going to return to them not being equipped to handle it. But there, Chief of Staff is asked, were you asked by Trump to delay the election? And he doesn't actually respond. He starts talking about mail-in ballots because this entire thing on the right, Trump and other elected Republicans, basically 99%, whatever Trump all of a sudden has his position, they immediately pivot. Like, was Mark Meadows like violently against mail-in ballots 2 years ago? I don't know. I kind of doubt it, though. But now the default position has to be that even if you yourself always vote by mail, you hate it and it's unfair and it's going to ruin American democracy. And so I don't find that to be at all reassuring if I want to have the election actually happen on the 3rd.
No, that was a very pointed question, too. That was did the president ask you to delay the election? It's like, are you cheating on me? Oh, well, I mean, what is marriage anyway? Look, here's the thing, that marriage can be, fluctuating in definition and we have to give and grow within a relationship. Yeah, it's for life. And, yeah, she started it, but what? He's evading the question and slipped in there a little bit of a no, but not a strong enough definitive no. And I think the follow-up question, of course, is, so would you rather Americans die, more Americans die, than be able to vote by mail, right? Is that worth it to you? And I think the answer is yes. Either die or don't vote. Yeah. Put yourself at risk, or don't vote. And this is the sad thing, John, I think we know this is true, is that after Election Day, and I don't imagine COVID is going to be under control by November, sadly, there will be a spike in cases because people will have waited in long lines and put themselves at risk. And of course, there will be people not wearing masks in those long lines. Yeah. It's awful. But yet these are the lengths. I mean, greater lengths have been gone to for the right to vote and to be able to vote. I think people know the stakes right now. It's just so upsetting that Republicans can be so bald-faced about their wish to suppress the vote and or send people to die.
And look, I would say, they always imply that, leftists and all that are biased in this. And I have to admit, I am biased. Even if it wasn't a pandemic, I would still support more mail-in ballots because, you know what? We should have had it forever. Working class Americans shouldn't have to hope that they can get a little bit of time off between their jobs so they can run down and vote and probably line up in lines that'll last 3 or 4 hours because the sorts of areas that many Americans vote in, the polling places have been stripped away and it's virtually impossible. And it certainly can't be a holiday, the presidential election. Why would somebody get off something for that? So no, even if there wasn't a pandemic, even if there was no risk, people should be able to vote as easily as possible. Registration should be as easy as it is possible to make it. If I can press one button and order my Domino's pizza, the exact same order as last time, one button and it comes, I think we can make voting a little bit simpler, okay? And so, yeah.
I want to track the ballot then too.
Exactly.
Now your ballot is being counted. Yeah. Your ballot is being opened.
Yeah.
Your ballot is being tampered with. Oh my God.
These ballot initiatives are fresh and hot. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.